You're listening to Barbell Logic,
the podcast where we talk about what it means to experience strength
and how you can use simple, hard, and effective strategies in training and nutrition to improve your life.
It starts with meeting you where you are right now and finding lasting solutions.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Barbell Logic podcast. Thanks for joining me and Matt Reynolds here. And if you were with us last week, we talked a lot about goal setting and trying to make changes in your life and figuring it is what you want. But even after you do that, and sometimes during the process of figuring that out, you're probably going to come to a point where you're not sure what to do next, or you're too afraid to do anything. There's doubt, there's fear. You have this voice in your head that's telling you you're not sure you can do this. And this happens with new lifters, and this happens a lot with regular lifters. It's just we become afraid or we have doubt about different things as our journey kind of unfolds its way in front of us. And I know, Matt, you just encountered this in your own training. What happened?
Well, so today is kind of I was thinking about this morning. Rachel and I were training. By the way, I squatted 405 for a triple this morning. Pretty excited for this. The first time I've had 405 for reps in a while. I had, by the way, I've got another surprise for you, which won't apply at all to our listeners. But as you know, we have a hot tub. That hot tub has been a giant pain in the butt. It was given to us by my mother and father-in-law. We have spent several thousands of dollars to continually fix it, and it decided to up and die entirely 2 weeks ago. And so we made the painful decision, because we'd spent a lot of money to get the concrete pad put down and the deck built around it and stuff. So I could either have spent all this money on trying to fix a broken, crappy hot tub and a deck and did
you just get a new hot tub?
We bought a new hot tub. So they're going to install it tomorrow. So I'm really excited.
A free hot tub is the gateway to a new nice hot tub.
If you can call it a free hot tub. So it was like, well, I've already spent all this money to not have a hot tub, or I guess I can spend more money to have a hot tub. And so we've got mission control meetings. So you're coming into town, and Josh and Andrew and everybody. So we will have a sweet new hot. So really, the plan is to do most of our meetings there. How that relates to this story is this: the contractors I had taking apart the deck this morning so that they could pull the old hot tub out and put the new one in. Young, contractor guys. Actually, these guys are well put together, well educated, and actually they're friends from church. And they were talking about, man, I was training. So I had all my training gear on and was walking out in my squat shoes, just check on them. Boy, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do what you guys do, what you do. They were telling me. And 60 seconds later, my 86-year-old Sybil walked up the stairs on the back deck and came into the gym, and they were like, what's she doing? And I was like, she's coming to squat and deadlift. And they were like, what? And they literally looked at, they thought I was joking. And I said, no, she's actually, I said, guys, literally the same thing that you should be. These guys are in their 20s, upper 20s, 30 years old. I said, literally the same thing that you guys should be doing in the gym is the same thing that this 86-year-old lady needs to do. And so that's what she's doing. So she's coming in, she's been squatting and deadlifting for years. And so, it's just this outlook thing. You've got these here are these guys that are in their upper 20s, very masculine, already working a hard manual labor job, relatively muscular. They're like, gosh, I really need to lift. I don't know where to start. I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt my back. And then the 86-year-old lady comes up and deadlifts and squats and doesn't hurt her back and is just fine, right? And so a lot of times this fear is just the fear of the complete and total unknown. When you are brand new at this or anything, and it's hard, it's scary, right? Anything in life like this is right. So we're big You Need a Budget fans, right? And you've really gotten into You Need a Budget the last couple of years. When you start a budget, having never really done a budget, it's actually really scary, because you're like, am I going to have to never eat out again? Am I going to have to? Right. And there's this fear because it's completely unknown. When you get married, right? And you get married, hopefully for the first and last time. But when you get married, you're like, oh my, this is a massive life change. It's a fear of unknown. And for people who have decided, man, I really, hate the way I feel or look or both, and I know I need to be healthier and stronger, but they've never done it, I think there's a massive fear of just like, I don't even know that I can do this. And so the place I'd like to start, and I would like to hear your opinion on this as well, is if we can do this with an 86-year-old lady with double hip replacements and knee replacements and back fused together, and start very conservatively and add a little bit each time and slowly make it harder, then you can do this, right? We've done this with people that are literally who've been injured in war and are missing limbs. We've done this with people who are blind. We've done this with people who are deaf. We've done this with people who had polio. I mean, we just about run the gamut of people at Barbell Logic who have different sort of struggles or challenges that they have to overcome, and yet they're able to overcome them. So I think the first thing is, yeah, you can do this. And it's not just about, I'm trying to sell you to purchase online coaching. It's that we now have the data from thousands of people that we've coached that have actually done this and show that it doesn't matter what your demographic is. You can strength train.
Mm-hmm. That was a lot. I'm which branch can I start climbing on? That was so good. Yeah, I think the important thing is like you mentioned with the budget is there's a fear of how your life is going to have to change in ways that you don't understand. And so I think what's really useful for people is to kind of really articulate what they're afraid of,
Yes.
like where the doubt is coming from. Like, are you afraid you're going to get hurt? Are you afraid of being embarrassed at the gym? Like,
Yes.
I know what it's like to walk into a gym and it's full of people who just look like they know exactly what they're doing. They know where to do all the things. And you walk in there and you're just like, I don't know what to do here. So are you embarrassed? Are you just afraid you're going to waste your time? Like, are you not sure if this is going to work? And sometimes the size of that fear can get bigger than your knowledge of the good stuff that can happen. And so the scales start to tip. And if you start to kind of change your mindset a little bit, and what I think is really useful is to answer those questions like, how do I not get hurt? How do I use this piece of equipment? How do I, like, if for people who are lifting for a while, but they haven't missed a squat yet, how do I miss a squat yet? Or how do I miss a squat so I don't, die? You have to like shift from being afraid to being curious.
That's so good. Okay, so first off, you have the fear of the unknown. I haven't done it before. And just like you said, and tying back to the podcast we did last week, you have to peel back the onion, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you afraid of, right? Are you afraid of looking stupid? By the way, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Are you afraid you're literally going to look stupid in your technique because you don't know how to do it? Are you afraid you're going to look stupid in the clothes you wear, right? So like even my wife has lifted for 15 years and still feels like sometimes like she struggles with confidence in her like workout attire. She's like, does this look stupid? I'm like, we're
Totally
training in the bedroom. It's just us, right? But definitely if you're going
training in the bedroom.
well, we're training in the home gym, which is a converted bedroom. We're not training in our bedroom. And we do that too, but that's usually cardio, less weights. Anyway, the weights, and it involves less gym clothes, by the way, the cardio. So when we put on, when we get dressed, gym clothes are a completely different attire. You put on squat shoes, you wear a belt. I'm like, am I wearing the belt? Does this look, am I doing it right? Like there's this constant fear that like you're doing everything wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I've talked about this from back in the day when I owned Strong Gym. I noticed that gyms in general, and not all, but in gyms in general, they rob people of confidence, right? People are going in there because they lack confidence. They don't feel good about the way they look or feel. And they go in there and, often the front desk person is snooty and the people inside are also sort of like walking around, at least what feels like they're walking around kind of with their nose up in the air, and they're a little more judgmental, and it's a kind of a meat market. It's not a great place to be. And so you have to start to figure out like, what am I worried about? Am I worried about being made fun of by those people? Am I afraid I'm going to look stupid? Am I afraid I'm going to hurt myself? Like maybe you don't care what the people at the gym think, or maybe you train it at your own home gym, so you don't have to worry about that at all. But you're afraid that you're going to get hurt, or that you don't know where to start, or that you're going to fail. Like, if you start this, everybody that does this correctly starts very conservative and what they can do. But at some point it's going to get hard, and not everybody's able to keep up with it, right? So I think peeling back those onion peels and those layers to figure out like, what is it that I'm actually scared of is really key. And then figure out a plan of attack, just like last week, just like with the goal, a plan of attack to overcome that fear.
So this would be fun if we break down each one. So what would you recommend to someone who is afraid of getting hurt?
Yeah, that's a great question. Hire a coach. So there's a couple of things you could do. The first thing and the free thing you could do is you could think about what you're going to do at the gym, right? So you're like, I'm not exactly sure where to start, right? So you've got like the Barbell Logic YouTube channel and other great YouTube channels as well that have very simple how-to videos for how to perform the lift. So you can do the best you can. Here's what I would say. We know that when compared to all of the other sports that we've ever kept data on, things like soccer, basketball, golf even, that weightlifting has the lowest incident, that strength training has the lowest incident of injury of all of the sports. And here's what's incredible. The vast majority of people are performing those strength training exercises wrong or suboptimal, and they still don't get hurt. So if even without a coach, so you're listening to this and you're like, I just don't have the money to hire a coach or to hire somebody to watch it, which, most people probably could find it. But if not, one thing you could do is you could spend just a little bit of time educating yourself on the lifts you're going to try. And then you're going to try those in a very conservative manner, right? So you're going to go like, definitely shouldn't be an ego thing where you go in and put on as much weight as you can, and you look around the gym and you're like, oh, there's some guy squatting 315. I've never squatted before, so I'm going to try to keep up. No. Like you start with the empty bar, you start with body weight, you do the thing that you know that you can do, and then you just add a little bit of stress each time. And I'm not even talking about workout to workout. I'm talking about even inside the same workout, make small weight jumps, right? Video yourself, make sure everything looks okay. Make sure it looks similar to what you're seeing on a YouTube video. But the best option is to hire a coach, even for a short period of time, to help walk you through that. And again, something like at Barbell Logic, we have the block experience where you can actually video yourself on that very first workout and upload it to one of our coaches, and they break it down for free, and they don't ask for anything in return. It doesn't cost you anything. So you get a piece of feedback there. So one, understanding the facts. Injury rates are really low, even when you do it wrong. If you spend a few minutes trying to educate yourself on how to do it right before you go into the gym, do the best you can, and stay really conservative, the chances of hurting yourself are next to nothing. Very, very low if you are a beginner. So that's where I'd start.
So you figure out from people or from sources who know more than you do, and then you're kind of cautious, which is the right way to approach it.
Think about like when you learn how to drive. I taught Kaylin, I've got a 16-year-old who's about to be 17. Learning how to drive is scary.
Yeah.
And learning how to drive is dangerous.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you learn how to drive? You go out into the middle of a parking lot that doesn't have cars, or an old country road that doesn't have traffic and doesn't have things, and you start really, really slow. And you do the same thing in the gym. I took my daughter out, honestly, to the same place that my dad taught me how to drive, out in the middle of like the water reservoir lake where there's almost nobody out there. There's a big giant parking lot. There's no traffic. And you're like, okay, now I can figure out how to drive a little bit. I can figure out how to park at a parking spot when there's not other cars to hit. And I can just see if I can get it between the lines. Like, that's a great place to start. You could do the same thing in the gym.
Yeah. Keeping it under control.
That's exactly right.
And another thing, some of the easiest things you can keep control of when you're new and getting into this, I'm going to talk about two specific things to watch for if you are looking at your self lift. Thing number one is the shape of your back while you're moving. Your back is composed of your spine, which is a whole bunch of joints. You need to not move any of those joints while you are moving weight. And so if your back from the base of your skull to really down to your tailbone, that starts to get wiggly, like if you're arching some area and then flexing some area while you're moving, that's not good. So if you can keep that frozen while you're squatting down and up, while you're picking the bar up, awesome.
Yeah, if your back should basically be flat, right? If it's too concave or too convex or going from one to the other in the middle of a lift, we don't want that, right? So mostly you should be able to keep your back flat. Everybody's got a little curvature of your spine, right? Everybody knows there's a little curve of your spine.
Yeah.
The natural curve is fine, but for the most part, it should be pretty dang flat. And whatever the natural curve is what it should stay while the weight is moving.
The more weight, I think the heavier you are, the more your back's going to look flat. The skinnier you are, the more you're going to get to see the natural curvature of your spine.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes.
Yeah. But as long as it's not moving while you're moving, that's good.
That's right.
And then the knees are the other thing that I think people get really nervous about. And so simple to do that while you're squatting. And even when you're deadlifting, think of your kneecaps having laser pointers on them. And like there's like another laser pointer on your big toe. Those lasers need to be going the same direction whenever you're moving. And if you can do those two things, you are instantly cutting down your chance of a tweak while you're squatting and deadlifting.
That's exactly
and
right.
pressing.
And by the way, the angle of that laser should probably be somewhere around 45 degrees.
Yes.
It shouldn't be straightforward, but it also shouldn't be straight out to the sides. It should be somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Right? Don't get caught up on exactly what it has to be. It's 33 and a half. No. We don't need that. But it shouldn't be straightforward and it shouldn't be straight out to the side. It should be somewhere in between. If you do that, the chances of hurting yourself are very low. By the way, I think that for most people, when they start, my guess is that most people, when they start, their biggest fear is actually not probably injury on day one. It's some combination of feeling stupid, of feeling like they look dumb, or they think they look dumb, right? Or they're performing the exercises wrong, or they feel like I look fat in these clothes, or I look like what? So is that the next thing that you?
Well, I want to talk to people who are already lifters and they're also afraid of getting hurt at certain weights.
I had this on my list too. So yes, this is great. So let's for a second. So number one is when we're trying to overcome fear, you have the fear of the complete and utter unknown. I've never experienced the thing, and I'm scared of experiencing the thing because it's brand new to me. And then you have the lifters, as you were about to say, who have already been lifters, and they are scared of injury. And most of the time, it's because they've injured themselves at some point. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring it back to the driving example. Do you remember when my family had the really bad car accident driving down to Texas?
Yes.
My wife was driving the Lexus, and we hydroplaned at 75 miles an hour, spun around and hit the concrete middle. And while we were in the process of, before we hit the concrete, I actually thought we were all going to die. Like we were going so fast that literally for the 3 or 4 seconds that we were spinning, spinning on the road, I was like, and my kids were in the back seat. And I was like, I knew we were going too fast to live. I was like, this is it. We're dead, you know? And then we hit the concrete really, really hard, and all the airbags deployed, and actually the side airbags hit me, and the side airbags hit me so hard a split second after we hit the concrete that I thought we were flipping and rolling over because it was like I hit the concrete and then something else hit me, and I was like, oh God, we're in a roll, but we weren't, right?
Dude.
And then the car settled, and I'm like, and I turned and looked at my wife was driving, and she was okay, and I turned to the back seat, and the kids were okay, and I was like, oh my God, we lived through this thing. Now, we had driven and ridden cars at the time for 20 years. I'd driven cars for 25 years. My wife had too. But man, for the next year, and even now a little bit, I'm still a little scared to drive on rain. And so is my wife, because we've experienced something that was scary where we could have been hurt or killed in the process of driving. And I think that can also play out in the weight room.
Yeah, because when that happened, you could have died. Yeah. And when you've experienced an injury as an athlete, and I like to remind people that after a certain point of training, you actually get to consider yourself an athlete.
That's right.
Which means you lead a different life. You make different choices. And people who train and push themselves for a while, sometimes certain parts of your body are not at the same pace as other parts of your body. So something will get a little behind. And I think that's where the tweaks come from. But you have to remember that you're not always going down that same freeway with the same rain at the same speed, hitting that same patch of water. It is completely different this time. And for someone who's tweaked their back, speaking to myself, I tweaked my back once on 345 on a deficit deadlift. And every time I get to 345 again on a deadlift, I can't help but think about that because it changed my life. That tweak changed my life. And
Yep.
I'm just like, man, I don't want to deal with that again. But also, there's another path I can go down where I can pull that and then I can pull 350 and I can pull 355.
That's
and
right.
like you get to do two things. You can, and we're going to talk about this again, you can weigh the risks. You know, you've changed your behaviors. Is it likely that you're going to do the same thing again? I don't know. Like, that's for you to
Probably
decide.
not.
Probably not.
Right.
And you get to weigh that. You get to also look at all the other outcomes that could occur. You know,
That's
what's
right.
the percentage? Like, the percentage of you doing the same thing is very low. The percentage of you moving past it is very high. And you get to kind of pull your logical brain back into this highly emotional state and choose which way you want to go. But it's hard
Yeah,
because
that's exactly right.
you don't want to get hurt again. I get it.
Right.
Sucks.
Yeah, understanding too, even as an athlete, even as you get really strong, the body is still an incredible organism that adapts.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go back and you rehab the injury, like my worst injury I've ever had is I've torn both pecs, but I tore my left pec really bad. I think you were there when I did it. And I tore it at doing a 450 or 455 bench press. And I can't bench press over 400 pounds without thinking constantly that I'm going to tear my pec again. And for me, at 43 years old, it is no longer worth the risk to chase a 500-pound bench press, because I have shown that, like, by the time you get up to that spot, you're significantly increasing the percentage chance that you could tear your pec.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I don't bench press.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that I don't bench press heavy. And it doesn't mean that I don't bench press hard. I bench pressed 315 for 6 the other day. And 315 for 6 for me right now was hard. It was a hard set. I mean, I didn't have 7, there were no reps in reserve, but it was a point where, and by the way, I didn't jump right into it, right? So you repair the injury, slow and steady, start conservative, work back up. And what you'll find is that when you do that, your body will continue to adapt. Now, because I injured myself with such a high weight, I don't have the desire to try to bench press 460,
Mm-hmm.
but you do have the desire to deadlift over 345 again and have, right? And so I think,
Mm-hmm.
and so what you do is you don't jump back in and deadlift 345 or 350. You go back down to 135 or 185 and start working up a little bit at a time and let your body recover and let it repair and let it adapt, so that you pull 340 and 340 is like, okay, that was heavy, but fine. I can almost certainly do 345, so that when it comes time, the next session that you go in, you're going to do 345 or 347 and a half. You can go in with some confidence, not, I haven't pulled anything near this weight since the last time I hurt myself.
Right.
But in fact, you can go, last week, I pulled 5 pounds less than this.
Yeah.
And it was just fine. Right.
You can't be in denial of the thing that happened, but you have to.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you have to change things a little bit, and that's fine. Like, you always get chances to, like, there are going to be problems that you have to encounter, and then you figure out how to learn from them, and you freaking move on with life, and it makes you a better
That's
person.
right.
I know it's lame, and I know it's hard to deal with that when you're hurt, but it does change you in cool ways, especially if
right.
you can become that person who's not mopey about it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it really comes back to, again, we've talked about this, and it's not that we're trying to hammer the idea of, we choose the hard things. The idea of voluntary hardship is we're able to choose hard things and learn how to recover from those hard things that we have a choice about, so that when we face the things that are hard that we don't have a choice about, like injuries, like cancer, like getting fired from your job, like COVID, like getting sick, like whatever those things are, we're better prepared, at least mentally and often physically as well, to be able to deal with it, right? Life is marked. I mean, look, let's be honest. Life is marked by suffering. Like, there is suffering.
So true.
We don't understand how good is unless we also understand what not good is, what bad is. Like, how can you really love another human being unless you felt loss, unless you felt tragedy? Like, that is one of the great life's enigmas, is that until you understand that, that's why for us, when training's going really, really well, after having trained for decades, when training's going really well, things don't hurt. We're setting PRs. I really enjoy it today. I enjoy it much more today than I did in the first 2 or 3 months of training, when everything's a PR.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's like to have everything hurt.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to have a bad injury that sets you, like those things. But I enjoy when training is great, when training is good, when I'm able to do that, I enjoy it that much more now because I've been able to come through those valleys, right? The hills become great. They become so much more enjoyable.
It's really fun. Yeah. Once you've experienced what it's like to be strong, it's always worth it to keep trying to experience it again.
That's
It
right.
just looks
That's
different
right.
each time.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So you were talking about something that I definitely want to come back to, which is the fear of embarrassment, right?
Yep.
And looking stupid. That I think is
Yep.
super real, especially for people who are just getting into this.
That's right.
And
Yep.
there's the fear of looking silly. Like some people don't want to online coach because they're worried about looking silly on camera.
Yeah.
And then some people don't want to go to a gym because they're worried about looking silly. And this last one I totally relate to, looking silly in your clothes. Those are all so
Yeah.
real.
Yep.
So what do you think about all these? What's your advice?
Well, I struggle with all this stuff too, right? And I've lived it for you. I've trained very seriously now for geez, pushing 30 years to over 25 years. So I don't feel silly about looking silly like in my form anymore, but I certainly remember what it was like to feel like that. But I do feel silly sometimes about the way I look or the way I dress, or, my body weight fluctuates a lot. We've got good friends right now, and people in Barbell Logic, they're all about like tucked gang, about tucking in your t-shirt, right? And I'm like, I feel not confident when I tuck in my t-shirt because I'm still not happy with my waist size.
Mm-hmm.
And one way to hide my waist size is to not tuck in my t-shirt. And so I feel goofy that way sometimes. And so what I do is even when I train at home, by the way, even when I train at home and I'm just there in front of my wife, who I've been with for, pushing 30 years at this point, I wear clothes that I like the way I feel in them. I like the way I think it makes me look, that it's flattering for me. I don't wear ratty clothes. I don't wear clothes that are too tight where I feel like I've got to suck in my gut all the time in the way I live. So there are things like that. I had my daughter video my 405 squats this morning, and she shot the video from up high, kind of looking down from in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it just showcased how bald I am. And I was like, I ended up posting it, but like, it was like, ugh. Like,
Man,
I don't want to admit
critics.
we're our worst critics. Yeah. We're our worst critics, right? But when I go into that workout and I feel good about the way I'm dressed,
Yeah.
I feel good about the way I look for me, not for somebody else, not because I'm wearing the brand or whatever. I think often people don't realize how often it is that they listen to to music that makes them feel that way. That's why, people give me a hard time about Bleeding Me from Metallica, which is kind of my go-to. It's not because it's the song that pumps me up. It's because it's the song that brings familiarity, and so I can take control of what I have control over.
Yeah.
Which is often what I listen to, and I can wear the thing that I feel good in. I don't feel like, oh, this is so different. This isn't really me, and I'm just trying to follow a fashion trend or whatever those things are. Those are the things that I can do that I think are very helpful because I can control that for sure.
I love that.
What about you?
I do believe that clothes make you feel a certain way. You could have if I wear certain clothes, I just don't want to leave the house. I just hate myself. But then if I wear same body, same day, put on different outfit, you feel completely different. And I think it's totally okay to be curious about finding the clothes that make you feel really good. Because that can really, the way you see yourself, if you're taking a video or you see yourself in the mirror, that can either send you into a spiral about seeing the choices you've made reflected in your physique. And you can be like, you know what? I don't like the choices that I've made over the past 6 months, and I'm seeing them right in front of me, and that makes me uncomfortable.
Yep.
And so that's one thing that can occur. And when that happens, I think you can really change your mindset. You can look at a bigger picture of yourself and say, I see the choices that I could have controlled and I didn't. and this is what my body is like now. And you have to be like thankful for your body because it's doing something for you. And
Yeah.
like we just said, you're your worst critics. Like for me, it's that little underbelly I get when I put on my belt. And I
Right.
can be lean as hell. I can weigh 20 pounds less than I do, and I'll still have it because that's like how my body is built. I have a 6-inch
Right.
torso. That's where all of my organs are. That's like one of two places where
Right.
I hold my fat. Like it's always going to be there. And
Right.
if you keep comparing yourself to what other people look like, you start degrading yourself in the gym. Whereas if you just appreciate yourself and where you're at in your journey, it's okay. But I do also think that wear clothes that make you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this is a similar situation that you noted on the struggles with injuries, is that seeing yourself can do one of two things. If you see yourself in a way that isn't reality and you don't feel good about the way you look, it can send you into a spiral that robs you of confidence. And again, we're lifting to improve our quality of life and to improve confidence and improve our the way we feel about ourselves and our ability to do hard things. But there are times when we need to own it, and it can be an impetus for change. And so for me, for example, I saw a couple weeks ago, I saw a video of, I had done someone had interviewed me for a podcast that I didn't know the podcast had come out. And they had interviewed me. This was last summer, right for the block party, when I was the leanest I'd been like 10 years. And so it was literally like what we're doing right now. It was just like it was on YouTube. And I was like, holy cow. Like I was lean and tan and looked good. And I was like, I want to look like that. I wouldn't compare myself to other people. I wouldn't compare myself to body. I was like, that can be me. But I've made some choices over the last 6 months that I'm not happy with. And it was a good impetus for change. It wasn't like, it didn't throw me into a depression and like, oh, I'm such a terrible, evil person because I did this thing. It was just like, no, even though I'm getting old, so I'm in my mid 40s, I can still really look healthy, look the part as as a competitive lifter and an owner of a fitness company. And I can do that. And I have to, so for me, it was actually a positive thing to see.
Great.
That enacted, helped me put positive actions into place instead of looking at myself. I think you can look at old pictures of yourself at a beach when you were in great shape and think like, oh God, I don't look anything like, I'll never
Totally
look like that again. That's not healthy. That's not healthy. I'm not looking at pictures of what I look like when I was 21. This is a picture from 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Right. It's different. And so again, understanding how you handle those things. Now there's this other piece that we mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago about the difference between going to home gym versus a public gym. Every once in a while, you're stuck in a spot. If you're a poor college kid and you get a free gym membership at the university gym or whatever, and that's all you can afford, like you don't really have control necessarily about where you can train. But most people listening to this podcast do. And if you're going to a gym that tears down your confidence and robs you of confidence, you need to go to a different gym. Like it's not okay. It's not a good place to be. And so what you'll find, my experience has been, oddly enough, is that most competitive lifting gyms are often full of the most kind people.
Yeah, they're super nice.
They're super nice because they were there, right? Some of the big box gyms, not all of them, but some of the big box gyms that are full of just sort of fake people. It's just a lot of like plastic surgery and makeup and whatever. And, not that there's anything wrong with either one of those things, but it's just like, there's just this feel that you get sometimes where it's just like, I'm constantly being judged by everyone here. I wouldn't want that to be my home gym. We experience that sometimes when we travel and we go to some of and the same brand of gym sometimes I go to and I'm like, this is a really great gym and full of really nice people and the front desk staff is great. And I'll go to the same branded gym in a different city and I'll be like, everyone is rude here. Everyone is, stuck up. Everyone I wouldn't go there. So you do have some control about where you train and the atmosphere you train. I think the atmosphere that you lift in makes an enormous difference. So go to a gym where your confidence is built, where even if it's full of people who are stronger than you, potentially better looking than you, better shape than you, they should be encouraging you to be better. They should be happy that you're there. They should be excited for you. They should celebrate your PRs, even if they're 1/10 of their PRs. And if you don't have a place like that in your town, then you should train at your house. You should build a home gym and you should do it so that you can have that and really control the atmosphere of the equipment that you use, of the gym that you train in. You are we both are, but I am a lot, and you are even more. You are very particular about the decor in your gym, the lighting in your gym, the decals on the floor, because I know for you, it lets you go out there and you think, this is mine.
Right.
This is me. This is my gym. You're never going to get that at a big box gym. You're not going to walk into a big box gym and have them be like, we designed this just for you, Nikki Sims. You're not going to have that. And so I think being able to take control of what you have control over and understand there's places that you don't sometimes, but understanding that like I can control what I wear, I can control what I listen to, those are the things that I can control. I think those are all the things that we do to help make ourselves feel better and feel a little less, silly, dumb, ashamed, whatever those things are.
I do. Yeah, I agree. But also, you can't control what other people are going to tell to you at other gyms at all. Like, I go to 24-Hour Fitness and I live in Orange County. So there are a lot of beautiful people. And their beauty is different than my beauty. And if that's something I'm insecure about, it'll bother me. But I also get to choose my reactions to people and my reactions to their choices. And once you really master control over that, you can train anywhere. You can train wherever you want because you get to create your own little workout space, and it's awesome. And so, especially for women who go to gyms, and oftentimes I'm the only woman in the lifting area. And it's definitely getting more and more, which is freaking awesome. But there are oftentimes when I am the only one there. And when another girl comes in, they're big boobs, gorgeous butt. It's awesome. Great for them. And a lot of women will be in that area and they'll be afraid that people are going to come and tell them how to do things. And that is difficult because it really, especially if you're new at this and not sure what to do, it just kind of chisels away at that whatever confidence it took for you to get into that space that you're still fighting to build. And my advice to you, if that happens, is tell people you have a coach. If you don't have a coach, lie. If you're not feeling confident, lie about being confident. Like, you have to fake it sometimes until you actually believe it.
That's right.
And if you can get a coach, awesome, because you're going to be able to, you don't have to engage in conversation with these people who come up and give you advice. You just say, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, I have a coach. I'll run it by them. Thank you. And then if they bother you, go tell the gym staff. Like, it's annoying, but just lie and say you have a coach. Lie and say you have it all figured out.
It's what I built Strong Gym on when we were strong, that we were, by our very nature, the name of the gym was Strong Gym, and it was intimidating, and we had a reputation for being full of competitive people. And so it was imperative to me to preach to both our staff and to the competitive lifters that it was our job to be as inviting as we possibly could. It's already tough because the name of the gym is Strong Gym, and it's a competitive gym. But that equipment wasn't purchased by the competitive powerlifters and bodybuilders and CrossFitters and MMA fighters. It was purchased by the business executives and the soccer moms and dads. And so for them to reach out and be inviting was super important. And then I took that, and as you know, it is the single most important thing that we do at Barbell Logic is that we build relationships between our clients and our coaches. And so one thing you have at Barbell Logic, if you're a client of Barbell Logic, is that you have a friend and a source of support for both of these scenarios. For both the scenario of, I don't know where to start, I'm scared I'm going to get hurt, I'm scared I'm going to look stupid in my technique, or I'm scared I look funny, I'm ashamed about what I'm doing, I feel stupid. Having a professional coach who's there to guide you along the way, who's just as invested in your progress and your confidence as you are, it's freedom. It's being set free from the shackles of this stuff. And so again, not everybody can afford Barbell Logic. I don't want this to be a huge commercial for that, but like, that's what we're trying to do. And I think that's where the loss is with a lot of online coaching companies, with a lot of personal trainers, is that they're there to either try to coach competitive lifters, young, good-looking people who make their resume look good. Like, look at all these good-looking people that I coached. I did that. No, you didn't. Their mama and daddy did, right? They can thank Jesus for the genetics. Like, that's why they look that way, not because of their personal trainer. And for us, we've got somebody that partners alongside you to make sure that you're performing the lifts right, you're doing a correct program that's the most effective and efficient way to do it, and can be there as a partner for you to help you feel better and more confident about everything you do, about the way you look, about the way you dress, about wearing the belt correctly. I mean, think about how many times we've had conversations with our clients about how to wear their wrist straps, how to wear their belt, why the super slick shirt, the, Under Armour style shirts that's really, really slick isn't best for squatting. And here are some better options or what. Like, we get to have those conversations with our clients in a way that builds them up and gives them confidence so that when they walk into the gym, everything that they wear from head to toe, the way they look, the way they perform, the way they do the lifts, what order they do the lifts in, how they warm up, all of that is taken care of for them because they have a partner who's in it with them, who's just as invested as they are. And I love that.
I have like a total light bulb moment. Like with template programs, with template coaches where you sign up and you get a template, or with even online coaches where they don't connect with you. And also I think for trainers in gyms, like who or what is their relationship with? Their relationship, when you get a template, that coach's relationship is with the program. Their relationship is with how many templates they can sell. Their relationship as a person, as a trainer at a gym, is probably with how many training sessions they can sell. Someone's relationship with a gym full of competitive young lifters might be weight on the bar. But the way I love that we approach our coaching is our relationship is with the human. It's not with the template. Our relationship is not with the program. Our relationship is not with how much we can upsell. It's with the person. And I think that's a huge difference.
That's exactly right. That's huge. It's everything, right? So what are the takeaways that our listeners can take with them? I think the first thing really comes back to even what we've said several times over the last several podcasts, which is start today with something that doesn't intimidate you. Right? Like, man, I would love for everybody on day one to go in and squat and deadlift, right? But if squat and deadlift is terrifying to you, if walking into the gym for the first time is terrifying for you, and what you're wearing is terrifying for you, and performing a squat and deadlift is, you don't have to do a squat and deadlift on day one, right? If the thing that's not intimidating is to figure out what's not intimidating, or maybe what's like just a tiny bit intimidating, and go after that, right? Like, you don't have to go for a 10, go for the 5.
Don't let perfection get in the way of good enough.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What else would you do? What are your suggestions there for the takeaways for our listeners that they can do right now today?
Accept that part of it is going to be uncomfortable. Whatever you choose to do, life is full of discomfort. Like we talked about before, life is full of obstacles. But like, if you're looking for the thing that's going to keep you least uncomfortable, I have no freaking clue what that is going to be. And I don't believe anybody who tells you that they have that for you, because life is discomfort. You just get to choose which kind of discomfort is going to give you more of what you've decided that you wanted. So get ready for a little bit of discomfort. Do your best to educate yourself on it. Hire an expert if you can. And also just be true to what's important to you. What other people are doing in the gym, it doesn't matter. What you think you look like, I can see how that's important, but also you get to choose what you want to do with that and have fun with it.
Right. Yeah, you focus on how you look makes you feel. Not worrying about how you look makes somebody else feel. No, that's not right. So control what you can control, right? Like, you can control how you feel when you walk. If you feel good in the clothes you're wearing, that's a great start. If you feel good with the music you're listening to, that's a great start. If you feel like you're encouraged in the gym that you're training at, that's a great start. And if you go to a gym that doesn't encourage you, tears down your confidence, go somewhere else. You have an opportunity to do that as well. And then just identify the things that matter and celebrate those small wins. Right? Sometimes it really is. Like, if the scariest thing about going to a gym is just going to the new gym, then that's the metric on day one. Go to the new gym, get on the treadmill and walk for 5 minutes and walk out and be like, I did it. I went to the gym. Next time, go to the gym and do a little work in the squat rack. Like, that's fine, right? Like, find the metric that matters. Like, I overcame my fear. Obviously, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. Neither are you. I do know that I've struggled with anxiety in my past. Families, people in my family have as well. I have spent many thousands of dollars on both psychiatrists and psychologists. Here's what I know. The anxiety The fear of the thing is almost always worse than the thing.
Yeah.
And the only way to overcome the anxiety is to do the thing. So if you're terrified to go to the gym because you think X is going to happen, you got to go to the gym. And then watch 99.9% of the time, whatever you thought the bad thing was going to be that doesn't actually happen. And then you get over it and you're like, oh, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. Right. And then you do the next thing. Right. Like, I think squats are the scariest thing I could ever think of in my life. Like, well, get a coach, watch some videos, and then you do squats and you go super light, empty bar, body weight, goblet squat, whatever. And you're like, okay, I can do that. And then do a little more next time. So it's not about biting off more than you can chew. It's about doing the thing that you're a little bit afraid of, that you know you have control over and you can handle today, and win that little battle and celebrate that little battle, and then come in the next day or 2 days later and win a little battle again. And you're not going to win the battle every single day. Just like with the goals, it's not going to be linear. There are going to be times that the fear sometimes gets you, and it does for everybody. There are still days, and I'm sure there are for you too. There are days for me, squat especially, where I wanted to squat 405 for reps today. Again, I turned 43 a couple days ago, and I'm just sort of like, I want to make sure I can squat over 400 for reps and deadlift 500 and do those things, right? But I've had lots of times where I take a squat bar out of the rack and it's got weight on it. I walk back and I go, nope. And I rack it. And I never even tried it. Those days are actually really bad. Those are tough for me.
Yeah.
They're tough after the workout. They're tough in the afternoon. They're tough in the evening because I think to myself, man, I never even gave myself a shot. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just do that. What is the next step? It's the minimum effective dose of attacking anxiety, of attacking fear, of attacking doubt. It's not going out and I don't need to speak in front of a stadium of 50,000 people to overcome my fear of public speaking, right? Maybe I just need it. Like, it's Valentine's Day for us on Monday. That'll be actually the day. This will be the day after Valentine's by the time this posts. You know, sometimes it's literally just about making a toast in front of 4 or 5 people and overcoming. There's a fear of public speaking, and then a little more, or whatever the thing is, right? Like, you don't have to go to the ends of the earth. Like, because I'm scared to lift and look stupid doesn't mean I have to go to the world championships of powerlifting on day one. Like that.
I promise you're not
ridiculous.
going to.
One small step at a time. Yeah. It might actually go poorly if you do. So one step at a time, control what you can. That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
And hey, you can do this. If Sybil at 86 can do this, if our clients which have all sorts of anomalies and crazy things that they've had to deal with can do this, like, there's really almost no reason you can't train. Almost everybody can train. And almost everybody has fear around that training at some level, whether that's starting for the first time or whether that's overcoming an injury or whatever that is. We've all been there. So just get started.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Have fun. Have fun getting uncomfortable.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Barbell Logic podcast. We would love a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Those are the 2 great places to do it. And as always, we are now on YouTube. We are youtube.com/C for channel /Barbell Logic podcast. And you can check us out on Barbell Logic and actually watch us and listen to us at the same time. Put us up on that big screen TV, take a picture of it, post it on Instagram. We'll repost it. That'd be really cool. I would like to see Nikki Sims and myself on like a 70-inch television on Saturday morning. You get up, like, this is what I do on Saturday morning. I make waffles and I listen to Barbell Logic.
I would love some of your waffles also.
We'll oof, those are good. We will catch you guys next Tuesday. See ya.